After Yang is an independent sci-fi drama that has constantly been on my mind since its release. It's a film that I've been dying to talk more about, so I just wanted to make a simple video discussing some of its thematic qualities that resonated with me quite a bit, mostly having to do with the subjective emotional power of perspective. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it. Colin Farrell's character is someone who seems worn down and emotionally detached from his life. He's not necessarily worn down to the point where he's a complete zombie, but he's definitely that type of husband that seems to just be going through the motions. And when Yang shut down, he viewed it as just another problem that he had to deal with. Not only with the improbable aspect of turning him back on, but also having to gradually break the news to his daughter. He didn't care too much about Yang emotionally and was more stressed about the responsibilities he has to encounter with the situation in general. This emotionally detached aspect of his character is shown in an earlier scene where he's having a discussion with his wife. His wife is clearly refusing to eat because of the unresolved emotional situation with Yang, while Colin Farrell's character continues to eat without any end in sight. This isn't to show that he's a completely careless person, but more so that he lacks a similar perspective as his wife, which in my opinion shows a bit more of an emotional maturity and understanding of their family situation. It isn't until the groundbreaking discovery of Yang's memory bank, which I think is implied was consciously created by Yang himself, that he begins to gradually change. This is because through Yang's memory bank, he's now able to access all the recorded moments and memories that were specifically saved by Yang. And we as the audience get to experience his journey through his first-person perspective, and the cyberspace imagery throughout the journey has such a breathtaking presentation. Not only does the first-person perspective make it incredibly immersive, but the imagery itself is striking. The imagery, combined with the snippets of memories Yang chose to keep, makes these sequences that much more touching, life-affirming, and existential. And it's also through Yang's memories that he is not only able to reflect on his own life in a more bracketed way, but some of Yang's memories unlock certain clues about his past and leads him on a journey to meet people and learn more about his capabilities and where he came from. And during this journey, we get a few callbacks to some past experiences that each family member had with Yang. In regards to Colin Farrell's character, there's a particular scene where Yang questions why he has such an appreciation for tea. And this could possibly be my favorite scene in the film because it's both stylistic and meaningful. In terms of its style, there's this creative choice to have overlaid audio of the characters repeating something that they just said, but with an ever so slight difference in delivery. What I personally took from it was that whenever a piece of dialogue was repeated, it was giving us a different perspective of the events. One of them is through the perspective of Colin Farrell's character in regards to how he remembered it, and the other is through Yang's perspective, which technically represents objective reality. But I also found the scene to be incredibly meaningful because it just felt so human. Yang appears to have a genuine curiosity for why he loves tea, and you can tell by the pauses and hesitations given from Colin Farrell's character that this is something that he himself has not given much thought for a very long period of time. In a nutshell, he basically says that his love for tea is less about the taste and more about the earthly experience that the taste of tea can give you. And overall, I found the exchange between them to be quite compelling and down to earth. It's due to his exploration of Yang's memories that he's able to remember how impactful moments like this were. And as he digs deeper into Yang's memories, he discovers something tremendous about Yang. Yang secretly stored an entire life's worth of memories deep into his hard drive that reveals an entire life lived with a previous owner. Yang was essentially able to experience the entire lifespan of his previous family as he witnesses her have children, have grandchildren, and eventually die of old age. It's an emotionally breathtaking revelation and sequence that moved me to the verge of tears. These are all memories that Yang consciously held onto and refused to let go of. And I just think that there's such humanity in a concept like that. This revelation also clearly moves Colin Farrell's character, and in my opinion, more than likely had a lot to do with his decision to not allow them to display Yang in a museum. If he was never able to access Yang's memories, there's no doubt in my mind that he would have been indifferent to the idea of it. But him having the privilege to not only witness Yang's past lives, but also perceive his own life through Yang's eyes, has allowed him to grow, mature, and have more of an appreciation for his family and life in general. This is demonstrated by his decision to not display Yang in a museum, and also demonstrated within the last scene of the film where it shows him at peace and bliss sitting side by side with his daughter. But before concluding this analysis, I find it necessary to discuss one particular scene that occurs earlier in the film. The scene is a callback to an interaction with Yang and Colin Farrell's daughter. After his daughter asks Yang about her real parents, we see Yang using trees and plants as a way to try and demonstrate the connectedness and oneness of everything on Earth. Yang is doing this purposely to give her a both honest and positive perspective on the reality of her being adopted. But the reason why I wanted to talk about the scene is because I feel like it encapsulates a central theme of the film. Yang initially points out two branches that became one as a way to demonstrate his point to his daughter, but she points out that those two branches are actually taped together, so it doesn't really count. I interpreted this as a piece of symbolism representing Yang's place in the family. The piece of tape is an artificial tool that was used to connect and bond two pieces of nature together, and in a way, this is essentially what Yang has done for their family. Yang is an artificial product, yet was able to bring a human family closer than they've ever been before. I feel like this is also expressing the notion that just because something is unnatural doesn't inherently mean that it is invaluable and unworthy of respect and appreciation. But anyway, that's my quick analysis on After Yang. I know that this film is still very early in its release, but I'm hoping to hear opinions and interpretations from those who have had the chance to check it out. And if you'd like to support the channel and receive some killer perks that include being able to vote in polls and join the most amazing film-loving community in my Discord, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below. And obviously, if you really enjoyed this video and what I had to say about After Yang, please give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.